Right, so back onto the MX5. This is my little Austin 7 Ruby under here. That might not interest loads of people, but this is another one that I'm in the middle of doing at the moment. It's on my Facebook, sorry, it's on my YouTube. I've been restoring it over a few years and built a modified engine, but never mind. Back onto this. If you're interested, you can always look at my other videos. Right, so on my MX5, what I'm going to do is, as you can see, it's got some pretty fine chassis rails on this. Solid, a slight little scrape there, but that's it. They are in good condition. They usually put them stainless steel chassis rail strengtheners over the top of them, then they build a bit of a crisscross frame, which obviously to stop the bodies were sort of, let's get this away, so stop the body sort of splaying out on hard cornering, bumpy roads or whatever. I could do something like that, but I'm not going to drag this car hard or nothing. I'm going to keep it pretty much standard with the engine wise. There's a few bit mods that has been done to it. I'll go through them later on at another time, which I'm going to put back to standard, which I don't like. I think if I ever sold it, it'll bring up a bigger market if you've got a standard car that's not really been molested, because otherwise then you've got two types of people. One who want to keep it like a purist, or you've got another one that wants to modify them. It's a blank canvas for them. So I've designed lots of bits of suspension and put engines in things that shouldn't have engines in there over the years. My early life when I was in the apprentice and YTS scheme, that's how long ago that was, back in 1990. My first garage I had, my foreman, he was into funny car dragsters, so for being a good boy, at the end of the day doing all my work, I used to work on the cars with him. We used to put big like Alaskan Land Train back axles on these cars. We used to put V8s in them and modify bits and bobs. And the second garage that I worked for, the bloke was a UK and world champion rally driver. So at the end of the day, when I'd been good, done all my jobs, I went up to the workshop, his workshop, and I used to help prepare his rally cars and fix his broken ones. And then on the last year I was there, he decided to do a Dakar rally, so I helped him modify that, big suspension jack-ups, modifications, body lifts and all this blah blah blah. So I've come from quite a good pedigree over the years, and I've made stuff and all that, and it's never broken, never failed, it's never been over engineered, it's been right, I think. Like I say, nothing fails. So what I'm going to do on this one is, I can see a bit of a sort of weaknessy bit sort of thing, is from front of these support bars here, which are in the way of in front of the back wheels, and this is where you would usually pat across here, or them crossbar sections you would. So what I'm going to do here is go from this bolt here, this strengthener bar that runs from the back of the suspension bed, and it goes up to the bodywork. So I'm going to go from here, where we're looking there, and I go straight across here. So basically that is putting load across from stopping the car from splaying out slightly, exactly the same as it would if you'd done it from there to the chassis to there. I don't think it is all necessarily needed in the middle of the car. It's got one, I'll turn around, at the rear of the front subframe, suspension bed, whatever you want to call it, from there to there. So I'm going to go from there to there. I'm going to do it out of 25mm by 3mm box, and again I'm going to put another one in a bit further forwards here, which I think is quite an important one. This is where the bottom of the suspension arms, or the wishbones you want to call them, join to the bed here and here, which under a bit of hard cornering, I do intend to take this to France next year and do some proper serious little windy roads in it and all that. So it'd be nice to be a bit more sort of, no, it's got a bit more road handling, a bit more stiffer sort of thing, and not sloppiness. This car no means has any scuttle rattle or not, or wobble or anything. I was quite surprised. I've never driven one before. and I was very surprised how well it actually drove. I hear a lot of people say they've got scuttle shakes, but obviously that's going to be because the chassis are knackered and been jacked on, crimped and all that. And then they've got the sills have all been rusted away and badly repaired. This has got to have one bit of repair on the sill at the back of it. I will get around to that, but I won't do that just now. So I'm just going to try and get it. I'll have a little bit of fun after doing all the brakes and all that on it. So I'm going to put another one in here, across to here, which, as you can see, is directly from the bottom of the wishbone, and I think this will very benefit from that. Stop it from straight in and out, you know, on hard corners. So all I'm going to do is, I'm not going to spend no money on it. I'm a tight ass. I can fabricate stuff, so I do. But this is a little guide if everyone else wants to do it as well. So here's me. This is me steel. You know what I mean? I've had this. Well, it's been cut off something. I don't know what that was. Say 3mm. Again, this was new once. This here, a 5mm flat bar. So this is all I'm going to use to make it out of. It's going to cost me nothing, and I got my welder over there, obviously, which is a decent welder, Murex. So there you go. I'll do you a step-by-step guide of how I'm going to do it and what I do. So back soon. Right, so next step I've done, as far as I've got, I'll just show you as I go. I cut out these. They're about 95mm by, I think, about 35mm. No particular size, they're just what I cut out, do you know what I mean? So far I've drilled 2 holes. I've got another one there, dot punched up, another one there, dot punched up. Don't worry, they ain't going to like that one again, they're still in the rough mode. So these are just take the bolts that go through the cross braces, that's already in there. So I'll show you what's happening. So these are going to go, there's 4 of these, one there, one's going to go there, one's going to go there, and one's going to go there. I say these are only just in raw stage at the moment, so they'll go there like so. And then I'm not going to get the bit of box section. This is 25 by 25, or 1 inch box in old money. So that's going to go there, the other one will go in there, and this is going to weld across there somehow. Don't worry, that's just an old shape that I had on the end, but it probably will be something like that. I'll bring it so it kicks down a little bit. Even I might just point them back or forwards a little bit, so I can get to the highest part where the exhaust is in the highest position, and the gearbox and diff mount. So I will put a little bend in that, or just a little cut in it, weld it back up, so it'll come like that, and then I'll go back up again. So that is the next stage done. I shall post up when I've done the next stage. So I'll try and make this part of the video easy for you to see, or whatever, or understand what I'm doing. Is I've got the brackets sort of just bolted in place. As you can see, I have gone from going forwards a little bit. Try to do so the camera don't pointing forwards. We're looking there and there. From the end of the bracket there to there, the bit in the floor, and that's a strengthening bit by the looks of it in the floor. That is 30mm from there to there. And again, why I've done this is so much better. Is when I get this torch, it's so dark in here, is if I was going to do them where the bolts go through the floor or come down where they originally go, you see what I mean, they'll be on the exhaust, and I'll have to bring them down probably about 30mm to get some clearance, well probably about 40mm to get clearance of the exhaust, if you see what I'm saying. So that's going to lower the ground clearance of the car. So it makes sense to make the most of the ground clearance. You see there, the original ones are there, the back ones. You see, you're just trying to get the, so you can see the ground clearance of it. So it makes sense to go through, get it as high as up to here as I can. So by tilting them forwards, I'll be bringing the bar that I'm going to do slightly forwards. I'll put a slight little curve in it, or cut and weld it round, and then back again for the driver's side. So you see what I mean? There's only up there, there's probably about 12 mil between the bracket that I'm making that goes onto the mount to the bar, and that sits a lot higher. So I'll be gaining about 30 mil height, or ground clearance to say. I'm trying to put it, explain it, I know what I'm on about. So yes, there's more ground clearance. I don't want it to be down here when I can have it up here. I say in case, and that'll bring it in nice height with the chassis. So I'll be gaining no lowering, losing any ground clearance with the car. But if I did it here, as you can see, that'll bring it down lower than the chassis. So it makes sense. That'll come explaining in a little while when I get the next bit done. So I thought I'll just show you what I've done and say that was 30 mil from the edge of the bracket to this bit in the floor. So if anyone wants to have a go at doing this, they can, for future references and why I've done it. So right, move on to the next bit. Right, so you can see now I've angled them down very slightly. There's one, there's two, and what I'm achieving by this is when I put my box section up there, I sit flats against it, and then you can see they've got clear, it takes it down to an angle where I've got clearance of the exhaust. So what I should do is when I shape the end near where the bolt is, I will put a little slice in here somewhere, and then bend the bit what's in my hand upwards, and I'll do the same again about here somewhere where my finger's marking there, and I'll come back and go onto that one. So I shall have, in theory, that will move a torch, so that'll come down here, and that'll come down a bit across, and that'll go up and run in with that one. But then I shall, once I get that angle right, I shall have to get it right from where it finishes on this bracket to there, and it goes across to that side. So I shall curve that out. So in theory I shall curve that way. That should bring the exhaust, it's not the best of pitch angles, to clear the resonator, and then that shall bring it back in here like so, and then curve it back in so it goes out, so it'll be slightly, so what I'm trying to achieve is it'll go slightly down across and back up, but also at the same time that's going to come down, so to come, where is it, come towards the front of the car, come straight across, then it'll go towards the back of the car, so it's going to have like a slight little curve going that way, and it's going to have a very slight little curve pointing to the front and then going to the back of the car. That'll all come clear when I get further in it. So next bit I'm going to do is probably cut the length of the box section. Right, back again. It's now the next day. Got a bit chilly last night. So right, what I've done is I've now cut the bits of steel here, there. If you noticed, I angled the ends. This is for a reason which will come explaining in a little while. So this, I've fitted the two back ones now in place. I've had to put a new bolt in there, tap a new bolt in there, because when that other bolt come out, that was all threads are all gone on it. I don't know why. That was probably cross-threaded in, or it's been off at some other time and someone's cross-threaded it, I don't know, but never mind, I fed a new bolt in there anyway, so that's all good. So I bent the rear ones down a bit as well, as you can see, to clear the exhaust. And then we've got time that's on there, so we've got plenty of ground clearance between the exhaust and the gearbox diff mount. So I'll give you the measurements in a second, what they were, if anyone was ever to do this or do something similar. Might not suit everybody, but it does for me. And again, I've cut that down there. So at the moment there'll be a bit of space between them two to clear the exhaust. what I'm going to do is do a cut in there, cut there somewhere, and do a cut in there, and that. So I'll be back in a moment. I'll give you the measurements if you like for what I cut these out to, and I'll give you the reason why I tapered them off in a moment. So I'll do this old money or English money in measurements if you like. Get the tape measure up so you can see it. Right, the bottom edge of the front one is 15 inches, or it's 380mm. The top is 16 inches, or about 410, thereabouts, close enough, or 405 to be exact. And the rear one is going to be 13 inches or 330 on the shorter edge, and on the longer edge 14 inches, and that's 360. So I'm now going to give these bits of metal a bit of a clean up and a bit of a mark, and I'll do where I'm going to cut them. Right, here we go. So this is the front one. That's going to go near the exhaust. And if you notice, I'll put some cuts in it both ways, and now if you can see, it is actually done it to sort of kind of curve it. So that there, so it points this bit forwards to clear the resonator, then back, and obviously the bits in the top curve it that way. So now that one fits with that nice little gap between the exhaust and the gearbox mount, and getting it from here. God, it's so dark in here. You can see it clears the resonator there, and the furthest one back is that one there. I put a couple cuts in it there, and again that fits nicely there, and it clears the mount and the resonator. So I'm going to now spot weld these up and see how it goes and what it looks like. Right, as you can see, the steel has been cleaned up, come out really nice. And again with the other one, there you go. And I've also put a couple of tacks just to hold it into place. You got to remember, this is done to a real serious budget of nothing. This isn't apart from a little bit of my time. It all comes out of my scrap bin, so it is costing absolutely nothing. It just shows you, with a little bit of imagination, a little bit of skill, or whatever, or if you want to just give it a go and see what happens, you don't have to spend big money on stuff you don't. And at the end of the day, we're all a throwaway society now, where people just get stuff and throw it and then just say, oh, I'll just go and buy new. It's not needed. So you can put your scrap to a bit of use if you're laying about. So here goes, this is the front one. Just having to confirm that it goes up right. Yeah, there we go. The angle's there nicely. The angle's there. Get there nicely. The clearance is still there. I'll show you from behind as well. If I get my hand out of the way. But it's still good. There we go. The clearance is still there, which I'm happy with. And again, the back one, so again, I've only just put a little tack on it, just hold it for now. Just make sure it's all good. There we go. All fits that, all nice in clearance, and it still is all below the main chassis rail, so I've lost no ground clearance with this. So right, I'm now going to weld these bits up, then clean them up. There we go, they're welded up. You can see the welds are good, nice deep, plenty of penetration there. So what I'm going to do, wait for these bad boys to cool down, then I'll give them a bit of a dressing up with our flap disc. That's a bit warm to touch at the moment. Right, now they're all dressed down, the welds and all that. So it looks quite right. So these bits here, well, I cut them like that, will now be explained, because this bit of a chisel here sort of is where the brackets come. So what I did here is, if you cut this straight off there up to there, and then you cut this piece out here to fold this bit down, this will always be shorter, and it will be, if you cut it from there, I'll draw it. So if you cut it from, I'll do it on this one a bit better. So if you cut it straight along that line there, when you come to fold the steel down, that will coming to an angle there. So you'll always have this gap here, which got weld up. So when I cut this bit out here, that will fold down, that'll be over the edge, then I can trim it off and get it to a nice straight shape. I shall show you what I mean in the next bit of video. So there we go. See, I've now cut the triangle out here. Right, so next I'll fold it down, which is like here. There's always going to be a bit of resistance on it because you can't bend it over further than it needs to go, and that'll look like that. So I shall weld down the edge, the horizontal or the angled edge down there, which will be clamped like this. So I shall weld down this edge here. I shall leave this a little bit open here on purpose, because when my brackets, I take the brackets off the car and I'll weld the brackets underneath here, I shall weld that edge to the flat bit of steel, the bracket. So I'll nip all three in one go, and that will make it a lot tidier weld, that will. So I shall get on, remove them bits off there, tidy these bits up here, and I shall show you what I mean. Right, there you go, that's just showing you one end where it's welded up, and the other end's where they're dressed down. But you'll see what I mean. So I always leave a gap in there. So if you can imagine, that's what I was welding to. I'll be able to weld that, so I'll be able to weld the top layer, which is there, the one underneath, and I could weld that to the steel that I'm welding to at the same time. So that is how it is done, or I do it anyway. Right, I have removed the brackets that go onto the base of the body, whatever you want to call it. Cleaned them up, shaped them a little bit, got all the mill scale off it, so it welds better. I don't know if people realise, but they do have mill scale and it does weld like shit. Much better without it. So what I've done, I've clamped it into place. I'm going to put a couple of spot welds on, but as we can see, there's nice space in there. There's nice spacing. Let's go there. There is, and again round the back of the exhaust. There you go. Just get a bit of focus in there. So I've got no problems about that, and say it's nicely within. Can't really see because the torch is in the way, but they're all both nicely within the chassis rails, so they ain't going to lose no ground clearing. But yeah, I'm pretty pleased with they're coming out at the moment. So I shall now tack weld them on and get back to you. Right, now welded up, just waiting for them to cool down because them bad boys are a bit hot, but all look good. Let's see, welds are nice. I mean, plenty of penetration. I won't dress them down, I'll leave them, and just paint straight over the top of them. So I shall give you another update when I've either primed them or refitted them or whatever. Right, there we go. See, I've primed up. I use high build primer. So almost here, I painted them when it was a bit warm because it's bloody cold in this old barn. So the paint went straight off, which is quite good. I'll have to get a heater out or something tomorrow, warm them up before I paint them. Then I get them installed. So I've got looking very good, if I must say myself. There we go. I did manage to paint them up in the end. I put some heat in. There we go. That's what they look like now, finished off. So yep, well happy with them. I should be getting them fitted tomorrow morning. Like my old Smiley storage shed. Gosh, there's some crap in there, I'll tell you. Right, so down there I painted properly and dried off, as you can see. Morning Freddy, he wants his treat. That's all he wants me for down there is his treats. He knows they're in that cupboard up there. No, no, back chatting dog. Right, so here they are, all finished. Look quite good. Very happy how they come out. That's okay for something that hasn't cost nothing to make, apart from a little bit of time, probably about an hour and a half. So now we're going to go and fit them. Right, there we go. This concludes it. All fitted. Still went on well, so there was no moving about when I was welding. That's just fitted up there. There, the clearance between the exhaust and the mount is good. Same with the back. It's good. Good. That misses the resonator. And on that, there we go. So that is one way. You do 2 underneath supports for an MX5 Mark 1 NA model. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like and share, whatever you like. I may do some more modifications, might be on Mazdas, might be on something else, but we shall see. Thanks for watching. Cheers, thank you, goodbye.